Hey everybody, Pappy here. It's June and that's Pet Preparedness Month. And we want to take some time here at Disaster Class because pets are important to us and we know they are to you. So we want to give you some tips and some little tricks and even some real life examples of how we've done it and how you can make sure that your pet is prepared.
You're listening to Disaster Class Podcast by Instinct Ready Emergency Management.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Disaster Class. I am Wesley Long.
And hello everybody, it's me, Pappy. And Wesley, you know what that means? Class is in session.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to this episode, man. So, everyone knows what we're doing here, our purpose, our focus, our goal here with Disaster Class, which is a podcast by Instinct Ready Emergency Management. It's dedicated to helping, you guys educate, prepare, and equip yourselves for life's disruptions. Now, sometimes that means we have to do a little extra preparedness for individuals that necessarily aren't humans. So this month, we're talking about something fun, Pappy, something near and dear to your heart, especially. What are we talking about here?
So it's June, so it's Pet Preparedness Month,
Yeah.
and our pets are our family. We've got a dog, we've got a pit bull. It's actually an registered emotional support animal for one of my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so taking care of our dog is super critical for us because in the event of a disaster, he's also there for my daughter. So we have made extra sure that he's taken care of as well. And so today we're going to go through that, Wesley. We're going to share
Yeah.
with our listeners what they can do to prepare their pets.
The sun's out, the weather is nice, but that means so is the sun and the bugs. Don't go anywhere without having your Sawyer bug spray and sunscreen. Keeps you safe, keeps you outdoors. Visit Sawyer.com to find a retailer near you.
Wildfire Mayhem isn't just a game, it's a hands-on disaster response simulation. Step into the Emergency Operations Center and lead coordinated efforts to contain wildfires, evacuate communities, and manage crisis. Crafted by certified emergency managers, this board game offers realistic scenarios and dynamic challenges. Get your copy at emdisastergaming.com and bring preparedness to the table.
I absolutely love it. Pets are important. Obviously, being an emotional support animal, like that's huge, right? For actually your own family's survival and well-being and mental health. Also, so it has extra weight there. Absolutely.
It does.
But what we're gonna do, just so everybody has an idea of the flow, we got some tips and tricks and some recommendations on some things that we can do to prepare our pets, the animals that we take care of and that have a special place in our heart. And then also too, Pappy is going to be just littering in different. Oh, yeah, see, pun intended. Littering in
Uh,
different applications that he has used with his family and his situation at home. So we're looking forward to it. It should be a really,
Yep.
really practical discussion.
Yep. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Wesley, one of the first things
Mhm.
is we've got our 72-hour bags.
Of course.
And in our shelter in place for us, we can grab them, we can go, but we have to have the same for our pets, whether it's a dog, a cat, whatever it might be, even some of those bigger animals, horses and whatever. They're
Mhm.
still our pets, and we have that responsibility.
Yeah.
So having that emergency kit for them, making sure it has some of the same things: the food, the water, even a favorite squeak toy or whatever it might be, so
Yeah.
that helps them. Maybe they need some meds too
Yep.
to help calm them down.
Yep.
So that's the first thing to do in making sure that you've got that emergency kit.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the reference material that we're going to have, we love to share these resources with you guys. And some of it will be in the show notes later. But ready.gov/pets, right? Great resource just to get the wheels spinning, getting some ideas of things that we can do to keep our animals prepared and healthy emotionally and physically. So like you mentioned, get the emergency kit. But some of the other things it mentions is, again, the toy, like you talked about, really, really important.
Hmm.
Um, and then, have the food, the water, toys, treats, bedding,
Yeah,
for your pet's emergency kit to help reduce their stress. There's a lot of really good recommendations there of things that we can have. And if it's something that they are familiar with, the acclimation to the surroundings and the differences with that, that will help reduce their stress. Really, really
completely.
important. Hmm.
Yeah, and they may have a lot of us like to have a favorite blanket or something like that. That's our Linus blanket. Animals have that
Nice.
too.
Yep.
You know, one thing that we did with the food is where we buy our dog food and our pet
Hmm.
supplies, they actually had sample packs of the food we use.
Oh, that's cool.
And so they're like individual little package single serving supplies. So that's what we were able to get to put in, and not every animal food's going to have that. So
Right.
a Ziploc bag is good enough. Just
Hmm.
something so it stays protected.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really great. Other things that it recommends there for us is your pet's vet's name, vaccination records, having those handy in case of
Yep.
emergency, and then just like some logistical things, a pooper scooper, cat litter, plastic bags, things that you can also have on hand so you can keep the environment as clean and sanitary as possible, especially when you're on the run and maybe you're making camp after you've hiked all day. You want to make sure that no contaminants get anywhere near your
Yep.
food and your water supply and things like that. So it's just good to be cognizant of all those things.
Yeah. And one of the things that we did is instead of us having to pack their supplies,
Hmm.
there's a variety of different vests and different like saddlebags
Mm,
for the animals that, and as you're getting them and getting them packed up, make sure that they're comfortable carrying them, that they
yeah,
don't get all sorts of anxiety with all of a sudden here's this weight around them.
right.
So get them used to that. And they usually come with like a leash carabiner on it so that you can hook the leash up to it so it's
Hmm.
ready to go.
Cool.
And they come in emergency colors too, so they're
Right.
visible.
High
So
vis. Yeah.
there's so many things.
So I love that. So we talk about sometimes with our unique populations, either the young ones or the old ones, because sometimes we want to just always be carrying everything, and that just might not be realistic, right? So
It's not.
if you've got your own pack, maybe you're caring for a family member that has extenuating circumstances. Then on top of that, you would have to carry a pack for your pet. I love that call out, Pappy, where you can just, hey, they can kind of carry their own weight here to some
Yep.
degree. But again, it shouldn't be the first time that they're doing this, right?
Exactly.
As much as a family would practice evacuation routes, and I think that's where we're going to head next, talking about some of the evacuation practices that we can do with our pets. You're going to want to practice it with them also, putting it
Yep.
on. Great discussion point there, Pappy. What does the
Yeah.
weight feel like? How much can they handle? Is it too much? Is it loading them down where it's overburdening them? Right? You're
Right.
not going to know that unless you test some of these things out in advance of
Yep.
doing it for real when lives might be at stake.
Right. Because it might be like our dog, he's 80 pounds.
Mm,
But he's getting older too.
yeah.
He's 16. That's
Okay.
pretty old for a pit.
Yeah.
So making sure they can withstand that weight and carrying it for an extended period of time, just like us. Um, we're going to wear out. Are they going to wear out? How
Yeah.
often are they going to need to be watered and everything like that? So
Right.
make sure that they're prepared. And one of the things that we highlight in our CEP class as well
Hmm.
is first responders. If they are there helping us, they're not going to. Their first priority is the humans,
Yeah.
not the animals. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of our pets. That's our responsibility.
Yes.
So as in this evacuation, make sure that our pets are taken care of and not leaving it for somebody else to manage.
Yeah, right there too. So ready.gov/animals, it talks about that. If officials tell you to evacuate, before a storm, it literally says do not leave pets behind. They are the
Yep,
responsibility, and I know that that's not something because pets literally become family, right?
they
It's
are.
this isn't new to say don't forget your pets, but it is recognized as a responsibility of the pet owner to be taking care of them much to like you said. But if we are gonna have to evacuate, practice that.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Put the gear, if you're getting gear for your pet, put the gear on and get the gear with your pet loaded into a vehicle like you would be evacuating, so that again they start building some muscle memory, and it's like, okay, I've done this before. And it can lessen their stress too. It's not, this is
yeah,
the first time I'm doing it, what's going on? It's okay, we've
right.
done this before. I'm used to this,
Yeah.
you
What's
know.
all the commotion about? Why am I got this thing on my back? And how come everybody is anxious? Okay.
Right.
Well, they feel that off of us,
Mm.
and that amplifies in their own lives. So yeah, practice. We can't overemphasize that.
Yep. Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about shelter now, because
Yeah.
this is something that we need to be cognizant of in advance, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So a lot of times, sometimes we may end up in a shelter ourselves, and at
right.
American Red Cross or other agencies, they'll have a shelter for us to go to.
Hmm.
We want to make sure that wherever we're going, we'll accept pets.
Yes.
Okay. In our case, you know, pit bulls, not everybody is super friendly with a pit bull.
Hmm.
And so we may not be accepted in certain areas.
Right.
So make sure that you've done your homework before you show up somewhere and they're trying to say, hey, we can't accept you because of the breed of your dog.
Right.
Make sure that they're accepted.
Yep.
Find somewhere that you can take and be safe with your animals and not have to make a really bad decision.
Yeah. Or a really, really tough decision, right? That could
Yeah.
be heartbreaking for all members of the family
Yeah.
involved. So it's just going to take a little bit of preparation, a little bit of pre planning, but literally that's why we have episodes like this, to
Yep.
get these wheels spinning, right? And again, like we said, it's Pet Preparedness Month. So this is the focus, right? We want to be thinking about these things. And it might just be a simple internet search, right? It might be a quick
Yeah.
Google search. It could be ready.gov/animals. They have some resources there that help you identify pet shelters now before the next
Yep.
emergency,
Another
right?
website too, gopetfriendly.com.
Mm-hmm.
Lets you know in your community
Yep.
who will accept your pets in an emergency. So take the
Yeah.
time. It's we love our pets. So why not take this time,
Yep.
set aside a few minutes, do this research, all of it. It's preparation is key.
Oh, absolutely. And then,
Reaction is not the way to do it.
oh, 100%. 100%. That's, you don't want to be there, right? You don't have to be reacting to things. And even if the news is not great, and your specific breed or your type is not accepted at a shelter, there are other places and other options where, if you have
Yep,
looked into them previously, you still can provide a solution, right? The little
absolutely.
note here: pets displaced by disaster are frequently kept in shelters or held by local orgs. Find a contact ahead of time, right?
Yeah,
Just do that work ahead of time. And it might be, hey, there might be some separation for a little bit, but we need to be here because this is going to keep my family safe. And maybe for the time being, you need to be here. But again, it's not a stray, it's there by
right.
prearrangement, right? There's a discussion, there's an understanding, there's a we'll be back, right?
Yep.
Conversation, which is really, really important. It's better to not be surprised by these things in the moment when everything else is going to be extremely hectic,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That's
And
the thing.
and two, if we're evacuating and we have the ability to get out of town,
Hmm.
if we're able to drive out of town, make sure that where we're going on the other end, maybe it's a friend's house, maybe it's
Hmm.
a family member, make sure they're comfortable with that extra load of animals as well. Maybe you are towing a horse trailer with some horses in it or whatever other pets you've got. Does where you're going, is it capable of accepting that extra load
And then sustaining it.
and sustaining it?
Right. Right.
So there's so many things to think about. Pets are our responsibility. We have brought them into
Mhm.
our lives, just
Yep.
like our children.
Hmm.
We are responsible for that. So we want to make sure and take that responsibility.
Yeah. Well said, Pappy. Well said. Another area is Identification, right?
Yep.
We got to make sure our identification is up. I like this. I like this first bullet point here. Keep that cute selfie of you and your pet in your emergency kit to prove ownership.
Ownership. Yep.
That's great,
Simple.
right?
Who
But
doesn't like taking pictures of their pets?
right, but to have it in your emergency documents specifically to prove ownership, right? That's
Yep.
the thought process that might be new for us. Like, oh yeah, there's a ton of value in that. Super easy to do, but just make sure I have it on me in case something happens where if they've got identification, it gets ripped off, it gets lost, it gets damaged. You can still prove ownership by the
Right.
selfie, right?
So let's add to that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Please.
us are going to take our pictures with our phones and we've got all these pictures. Okay. What if our phone's dead?
Mm-hmm.
What if it got destroyed or damaged or something to where we can't access that on our phone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Digital or a hard copy of that picture.
Yeah,
Print it
that's it.
out.
Print it out.
Print it out so that we've got that. Put it in the bag put it in your
Mm-hmm.
pet's emergency bag, put it in
Yeah.
your emergency bag, put it in all of your family's bags
Yep.
so that whatever happens, you're guaranteed that at least one or two people are going to have that picture.
Yeah. And this goes right in line with, again, our CEP course, right? Because we talk about this for us as humans under special considerations, right? We talk about our personal identification and some of the recommendations that I've made. And depending on where you go, they may or may not let you do it. But for me, one of my approaches to my own identification is I like to keep a photocopy of my social security card. I keep a photocopy of my passport. I keep a
Mhm.
photocopy of my driver's license. And then what I do is I have them laminated. So
Yep.
they are laminated hard copies that I keep in a specific file in a specific location in my 72-hour bag. So when I grab it and go, I can prove who I am multiple different ways, right?
Absolutely.
Again, with your pet, same thing.
Same
Take
thing.
that picture, print it out hard copy, laminate the thing so it's weatherproofed, put it with your belongings so you have it, you know you're good to go. Again, if you do
Yep.
this well in advance, it's not even going to be a pinch point. It's not going to be difficult. It's not going to be arduous. It's not going to be super expensive.
Right.
And it could save you a lot of heartache on the back end.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's go also back to support animals. So
Mm-hmm.
for our dog, we've got registration for him. We've got ID tags for him.
Right.
We've got all of that. So you want to make sure that you've got those registrations too.
Right.
Now, you may have a service animal.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure and have all that documentation duplicated, triplicated for
Yeah.
that as
Have it
well
everywhere.
too.
Yep.
Put it everywhere. We just had some friends visit and they have a service animal.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's got on a little small dog that she's able to carry.
Mm-hmm.
And so on that sling pack that she has, she's got a patch sewn in on the sling itself. She's got all sorts of identification in there.
Yep.
And that's what we want to make sure. And like you said, it's all laminated so that it's not going to get damaged.
That's it. Keep it weatherproof.
Yep. So make sure, especially, please, if you've got service animals, that you've got all those things taken care of.
Yep.
Because that's your life too. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Can't overstate it, right? Super important.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Pappy. That's a really nice example of someone who's doing it already in real life. Your friend that came to visit, they're already thinking about these things. They're a few steps ahead. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Then there's a piece in here about microchipping. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's extensive. I don't know anyone that's microchipped one of their animals before, but it is a thing. It is a possibility. But again, I think the biggest thing is what you mentioned, Pappy. If you're going to go through that process, have all the registration information available,
Yep.
right? Keep all of that info current and available. And a recommendation that we've seen before with things like this is, Pappy, you've got a pretty large family, right? Of humans that you'd be going with.
Yep.
What are you at? 5?
There's 7 in my house.
Seven in your house. So with the 7 individuals there, maybe the pet will respond to all 7. Put
Yep.
their information in all 7 bags.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we've done.
Right.
So that everybody's got it. Everybody knows what's going on.
That's it.
It's not that hard.
Because if you get separated, we may not be able to choose who the pet goes with. It might go with whoever's there, who it recognizes, and anybody that has the identification is good is going to be that
Yep.
source of
Yep.
support there in
And
that situation.
and with those pictures, excuse me, make sure that the picture that you have is with the individual whose bag it's in.
Right.
So there's 7 of us.
Right.
So there we 7 pictures in 7 different bags, and doesn't hurt to have a picture with everybody with the dog as
Yeah.
well, or
Why not?
cat or gerbil or hamster or
Yep.
your pet snake and spider and whatever.
Yep. So you're saying, Pappy, I can't carry a picture of you and your dog with me to. Okay, we don't look. Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Cool. Okay. I get it.
Brothers from another mother.
That's it, man. I got you. I got you. Nah, it's a great call out, man. I thank you for that. That's practicality, right? Super
It
valuable.
is.
Yeah, super
Yeah.
valuable.
I mean, I like this last point on this little section. It says,
Mhm.
don't allow your pets to roam loose.
Yeah.
Landmarks may have been changed. Your pet could become disoriented. When we moved to Missouri
Mhm.
from the Northwest,
Mhm.
we didn't have this dog, but we had another dog with us.
Mhm.
And she went berserk when we got here because
Yeah.
everything was new.
Yeah.
And she's not used to traveling because we didn't go long places and whatever. So we've all heard those stories about a dog being left behind and
Yeah.
a couple years later it's back home.
Yeah.
So animals are going to travel. They're going to go where they're comfortable,
Right.
what's home to them. So
Mhm.
please make sure that your animals are on a leash, they're contained.
Yep.
Got to be in a kennel for a little bit just to get calmed down.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, just take care of them.
Yeah. And it is a really good point there, right? Landmark, depending on the type of natural disaster, right? Uh, the big tree that we always make a left at might be gone.
Yep.
The big red barn that we always make sure we pass, that might be gone. And then one thing I always think about with dogs and their sense of smell, because of the inundation of potential, so many things that could be
It's
carried
overloading.
through it, the smells might be completely different too.
Yeah.
So again, their orientation based on smell might not be as pinpoint because maybe there's whatever from a hurricane that's been brought there, all new types of water, all new types of dirt from different places. So all those things, just be keeping those things in mind that they may not just be able to figure out how to get back home.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And
Yeah.
in case in point, not that I've heard any recent reports of this, but here in St. Louis a few weeks ago, we had an F3 tornado hit,
Yeah.
and there's houses and buildings and everything just they're gone.
Yep.
And a lot of these had pets. A lot of these
Yeah.
these homeowners and renters had pets.
Yeah.
So again, I've not heard of any stories of any pets being displaced or anything like that. But to your point, everything has changed. The landmarks, their sense of security is gone.
Mhm. Yeah. Devastation is not easy for
No.
us as humans who understand what's going on, let alone especially domesticated pets who maybe
Yeah.
don't have a clue as to
Yeah.
what's going on.
And they can't talk it out.
Yeah, they can't talk it out, so it's gonna
Yeah.
be rough. So we love them. We want to take care of
Yep.
them. So,
Exactly.
what else we got here? Some seasonal
Yeah. We're getting into
recommendations.
summer.
Getting into summer.
We're getting into summer.
So, what are some things we got to be thinking about, Pappy?
Every year we hear about these animals being left in a car with the windows rolled up,
Yep.
and it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, which means
And
it's like 120 inside because it's trapping the heat and baking.
Yeah. People are breaking their windows to get these animals animals out of the cars. The authorities are being called.
Yeah.
I don't like being in the car in the heat, even with the windows rolled down.
Right, right, right.
Why would we do that to our dogs, our cats? Well, I don't want them jumping out. Okay, well, take them with you.
Yeah, figure
Leave
it
them
out.
at home.
Yeah.
Leave the window rolled down. Leave somebody in the car with them with the AC running.
Right.
Don't be that person.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. And again, it's just some reminders because it's the month
Yeah.
of June and we're thinking about these things. I like this reminder too about testing the sidewalks with our hand, right?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like if it's too hot for our hand, it's probably too hot for our pets and their feet and their foot pads, right?
Yeah.
Because they have to make contact with that, and that could be super, super sensitive.
Yeah.
To them.
And the back of your hand.
Yeah.
The
More
back of
sensitive.
your hand.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've done that, Wesley, but I have. we hit triple digits and it's real
Ooh.
humid here in the Midwest.
Ooh.
So I take the dog out for a walk or so he can relieve himself and, testing that's hot. They don't want to walk on that.
Right. Just like
Yeah,
you don't, when you pull away, you say, ow, yeah, they don't want that either.
Yeah. Yeah. Go walk barefoot on the sidewalk
Ooh.
when it's 110 degrees
Ooh.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't
Why
want that.
why put your pet through that?
Right.
And this last one, avoid
Mhm.
exercising with your pet outside on extremely hot days. That's hard on them too.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, it should be common sense, right? And most pet owners know that, right? Because the pets are part of their family and they would never want to hurt their family, but just
Yeah.
extra water, make sure they stay hydrated, all the things that you do for yourself and for your
Yep.
kids. Obviously, we don't have to tell you how to take care of your pets because you love them more than we do, but it's just good to go over some of these reminders every so often,
Yeah.
Now let's
And
flip the script, Pappy. What about when it's cold?
cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed as I get older,
Mhm.
the less I like the cold.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. Yep.
So pets don't want to
Mhm.
be out in the cold either for extended periods of time.
Yeah.
Some animals are built for that.
Mhm.
They're built for the cold weather.
Mhm.
Okay, but not all of them.
Not all.
And even extended periods of time are still not healthy.
Yeah.
So, make sure that they're inside.
Mhm.
Don't leave them outside for a long period of time.
Mhm.
I like this one. Don't forget to wipe your dog's paws.
Ooh, why?
Ice melting chemicals can get in there and make them sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one thing we've got to be aware of.
Yep.
And when I go and get ice melt every winter,
Mhm.
I look for stuff that's pet friendly,
Yep.
but I still make sure that we clean out his paws before he comes in.
Yep.
Because he doesn't need to get sick because we've neglected something.
Yeah, because he's going to lick his paws.
Yep.
Just the way it
Yep.
goes. Just the way it goes.
They're
Yeah.
animals.
So we just want to be careful. Again, awesome, Pappy. Thank you for that review. Just a couple tips, tricks, just some things for us to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Just so we're cognizant of it, and we can plan ahead.
Yeah.
Really.
There's another one that I think is
Mhm.
really deserves being called out.
Do it.
What do we always have to do with our vehicles when winter comes?
Yeah.
Antifreeze,
Yep.
coolant,
Coolant.
making
Yeah.
sure that our cars are, so that their cars are okay.
Right.
Okay. Animals like to lick that.
Yeah.
It's deadly for them.
Deadly.
So if you're pouring some coolant in your vehicle and you
Overspill.
spill some,
Yeah.
clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
Clean it up. Your pet may be the one that's out there. You may not even have a pet, and you may think, I
Right.
don't care. Well, what about your neighbor's pets?
That's it.
Don't be that neighbor.
Yep. Don't be
So
that neighbor.
I'm always aware of that. There's a handful of cars in my driveway, so I'm checking antifreeze every winter. And sometimes, you spill a little bit. So
Yeah.
make sure and clean up that antifreeze.
Because the pets will be walking through it, then they'll be licking it, and that's not going to be a fun time at all.
No.
Yeah,
So.
great stuff, Pappy. I appreciate this. This was a nice refresher episode. Some nice little tips and tricks for us to be thinking about, just to keep our loved ones, right? Our loved ones as safe as possible, right? But before we conclude disaster class, there is homework.
There is homework. So we would like you, our listeners, to make sure that you like and subscribe to Disaster Class. Leave us that 5-star rating, that thumbs up. And what we'd really like is you to comment on something that you learned from this episode, or maybe some tricks and tips that you've got that you'd like to share with us and the rest of the listeners, so that we can all benefit from this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. And if you have a question, a preparedness tip, disaster story to share, send us an email at disasterclass@instinctready.com. Drop us a message on our socials. We've got Instagram, Facebook, the Twitter, LinkedIn. And when you do that, you're going to put yourself in a running to be featured on the show and win some cool prizes and some swag. So thank you very much for listening to Disaster Class. Stay educated.
Stay prepared.
And stay equipped.
In class dismissed.
Awesome. Thank you.
This episode of Disaster Class was sponsored in part by Sawyer Products, EM Disaster Gaming, Stop the Bleed Coalition, and Blue Lotus Virtual Services. This episode was hosted by Wesley Long and Jason Martin. Disaster Class is directed, produced, and edited by Jason Perez. Copyright 2025, Instinct Brain Incorporated, all rights reserved.